We depend on first responders to be there in minutes in situations where minutes can make all the difference. But more demand without more support is stretching EMS services thin across the state of Idaho. Our Jude Binkley talked to the Ada County Paramedics chief, and Jude, their workload keeps growing as more people move into the area.
Absolutely, Morgan. And Ada County Paramedics respond to just over a quarter of EMS calls for the entire state of Idaho. And over the past 50 years, a lot of things have changed with how they provide care, with new advancements and equipment. The way these services are funded hasn't changed. As our GEM state continues to grow, so do the costs associated with running emergency medical services.
And it's not the cost of the call when it comes in. The cost is truly being ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ada County Paramedics Chief Sean Rain says just a few years ago, ambulances cost around $180,000 to purchase. Now they cost $250,000. Last year, Ada County Paramedics shifted from a 48-hour work week to 56 hours, something their chief says isn't sustainable.
We have 14 ambulances on duty, 24 hours a day. The reality of today is that I need really 17 ambulances to provide that base of coverage, but then also to not work my people as hard as they're being worked right now.
Those are problems seen across the state in both urban and rural areas.
Many agencies in the state, including my own, we're looking at maybe in a year or two, 2 to 3 years, of potentially having to decrease our level of service.
To avoid a situation like that, in 2022, the Idaho legislature created the EMS Sustainability Task Force to look at issues impacting EMS services.
Issues with funding, recruitment, retention, pay.
While the way paramedics respond to scenes has grown and changed, the way those services are paid for hasn't.
The funding model is really based on what we were doing in the 70s.
A number of different sources fund EMS services, including county taxes, insurance, but most of that money comes from Medicare, a source that isn't providing as much as it used to.
We get about $350 from Medicare on a bill that might be $800. And so that portion of our budget that was that fee for service has continued to kind of shrink.
To try and come up with a plan that will work for these departments, the task force recommended 3 things they would like to see in proposed legislation this year. The first step, officially designate EMS as an essential service in Idaho.
By doing that, it puts the onus on the county commissioners in each county not to provide it themselves or to have a county service provide it, but to ensure that it is provided within the borders of the county.
It also asks for money to help counties establish EMS services to make sure people can have those life-saving resources anywhere in the state.
And if we continue to see the increase in call volume like we have been, it's just going to get worse. And so we really need to find these things that make EMS sustainable, not only here in Ada County. That's certainly important to me and my agency, but across the state.
And Chief Rain says they're not sure when this proposal will go to committee or if it'll be during this session. They say they have had interest from legislators. And as we talk about advancements and how first responders respond to medical emergencies, this week Ada County is hosting a training academy. It's all about how to better respond to heart attacks. Ada County Emergency Services has brought in the Resuscitation Academy, who analyze and evaluate how first responders can increase survivability from cardiac arrests.
The time that we have to actually intervene with somebody is measured in seconds and minutes. So if we don't start CPR, if we don't get higher levels of care involved early, seconds can mean the difference between life and death. And we can sometimes get hearts restarted, but functional outcomes for patients, getting them home to their loved ones, that's what we're really striving for.
And it's not just paramedics, but police officers and firefighters and dispatchers from across the region, Morgan, are taking part in this training.
And you think about these rural communities. I mean, Andrew's in the studio right now. We were just talking about this. We have covered this issue for so long. You think it's a problem in rural communities where a lot of these folks are volunteers, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's happening in
across the state.
Yeah, most populous county. All right, we'll see what happens. Hopefully this legislative session, Jude. Thank you.